Oh shit. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning into this evening's Power Hour. It's been an amazing week in crypto. Last week was, and the week before. If you're in the right alts, you're able to capitalize on some big swings, right? And we call these trading the market cycles. If you guys are in with us in VIP, you saw the gains up to 160% on Raven, and we sold the top on that. We booked KNC, we booked AirSwap token, Steam on the first round. So many signals went really well. If you guys are not VIP, you can check our trade updates and kind of get an idea of how well of a week we've had, how good of a week we've had. And this nice pop in BTC was sort of expected. We put out a long BTC signal last night on margin. So if you guys got in after the first time you got stopped out on that liquid, on that big massive wick on the futures, you got back in after that, you should be in some really solid profits, right? On the daily chart, I see quite a bit of support on BTC in terms of moving average support, right? I'm not gonna talk about what these moving averages are on the live stream. You got to maintain our edge. But if you guys are in VIP, you've been following my market cycle that we tuned into. We tuned into this altcoin cycle and BTC cycle after Litecoin made that first push. And we saw where it stopped, and then we started gauging other alts based on that cycle. And ever since then, our trades have been awesome, right? Right before that, we got stopped out of a lot of altcoin trades. Of course, like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then once we dialed it in, I told you guys, hey, we're dialed in. We're going to make this happen. We're going to book some big profits. And we sure are doing so, right? And this thing is not over, right? If you look at some of our open signals, ENJ is up some 30%. It was signaled, I think, yesterday or the day before. A few other trades are going amazingly well. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm really excited. I'm seeing a lot of green in the market. Yep. And I expect it to somewhat continue, right? We're seeing BTC finding support on one of our key moving averages on the daily chart. Back when we were down here, I said we're not going to be too bullish before we come back and start retesting areas of resistance. I'm charting on an ultra wide, so you got to bear with me. I got to kind of modify my screen to fit. I'm going to go into a 4-hour. Check in on BTC's price action. Can identify levels of support and resistance, and it looks like the 3630, 3600 really held up well. My white line, you guys know what that is if you're in VIP, and if you read my notes, you know what reference this is. This has been acting as support for some time now, right? And it's going to be our resistance on our larger time frames, on our daily time frame. So as of now, until we break below our white line, you know, we're still long. Last night, just down here, I saw a descending broadening wedge on the intraday. I think it was on the 15-minute chart, and here it is. This is where a long signal came from. And if you guys have been following us, I've talked about these wedges, the descending broadening wedge being pretty much the money maker right now. It's been, we call him a DBW. It's been a DBW season for a few months. Every time we see one of these, we long, it goes well. This isn't textbook, it's not classic, but it worked, right? And we had a long down here. I got stopped out the first time and longed again, and we're in a liftoff mode. I'm not calling bottom on BTC. I'm not sure if we've bottomed yet, right? I'd like to see another retest of our secret white line. It's really not a secret. You know, if you guys are VIP, you know what we're talking about. What we want to see this still act as support. We want to see continuation. Another reason I was bullish on this move is the 61.8 retracement. Okay, wrong. Whoa, completely not the tool I'm looking for. Sorry about that. We had a 61.8 retracement. We had a massive wick the first time, and I said BTFD, buy the dip on that wick. And the guys that did and then added and didn't get stopped out, well, guess what? And we're doing it right? So when we saw this wick happen and come down, we put out a long over here with a stop below the last wick, and guess what? We didn't get stopped out. If you got closed out over here, came back down, or if you added on your futures, if you're building a big futures position, longing the dip, the new yearly lows, or so, not quite the yearly low, but on this tentative trend right here, where we're still holding above the 61.8, we got friction with 38.2. It looks like we're setting up into somewhat of a bull flag for a continuation. So that's my current stance on BTC. Back when we were here, one of our VIPs was asking, hey, how come you're long when we're still in a downtrend? I said, hey, market sentiment is extremely bullish. These alts are setting up for a beautiful rally, and we've been trading these alts accordingly. Another reason we long down here at the 61.8 is because we know there's a gap fill that still needs to happen on the CME chart, right? I'm gonna go ahead and go to that. The Bitcoin futures on CME. We had a gap. We had a pretty big gap, and it still has not filled out, right? So as of now, we have a gap that's up here. I'm going to go ahead and price market. I know you guys can't see the price on my chart, but I'm going to go ahead and lay a line, and we're going to put a little price quote on there. So up until we hit that 39.31 mark, right where we had that gap down, we still have to close that gap. This isn't, BTC is not different than any other instrument, right? This big move done might have been to fill this gap down here. And the reasons these gaps happen is because CME does not trade on the weekends, right? So CME stops trading on Friday and resumes trading on Sunday. And I've talked about this in my notes. You guys are VIP that have access to my notes. You've known that this up move was coming because of the CME gap, right? And even CME didn't quite go as high as BTC did the previous weekend. And I mentioned that, hey, if we get a big move up on BTC over the weekend, we're going to see a retracement come Sunday or Monday to come back down to match the CME prices. So I'm going to go into the CME theory real quick. CME is where the big institutions, the big banks are trading Bitcoin on leverage. It's like the BitMEX of the big banks. And they also trade on spot, right? So they're leveraging BTC on CME, and they're trying to move spot price to make sure they don't get liquidated, right? So if BTC is going to open up $400 or $300 on Sunday, when they start trading again, it's going to be much higher than these shorts and longs. They're going to want to sell as much BTC on spot to bring BTC's price back down, so to level out their leverage position, or else everybody's getting liquidated. So you got to watch out for these CME gaps, and looking out for them is going to help you set yourself up to hunt the next gap. If the next gap's overhead, if it's below, you want to chase it. Not only that, but actually, now that I've covered that, there's going to be a time where they can't keep up with BTC anymore. Like we had the mania in 2017, late 2017. If we enter another episode of BTC mania, they're not going to be able to keep up with it, right? And that's when they're going to start getting burnt. So you got to realize it's not just BitMEX that's the main player. There's these charts running on CME, and if you're trying to find the CME chart on TradingView, it's just BTC1, and it's going to pull up Bitcoin futures, and it's going to be the revolving one. Think of it as BitMEX perpetual, right? But then you can also check the June futures, the March futures, the April futures. You can check any future you want and see what the volume's doing, and so forth. All right, now I'm ranting a little too much on futures, but that let us know that an up move was setting up. All right, so I'm going to jump into ETH BTC. I still think Ether futures are coming. I know Ether futures are coming. ETH BTC, ETH gained on BTC today. So in terms of USD gains, I think BTC made like a 3%. ETH made some 7%. it's kind of pulling back a little, but I do believe we're going to see a big Ether surge before Ether futures are announced all the way. Now, Ether on the US dollar. ETH on the US dollar, did we double bottom? It's not a classic double bottom, all right? But we did see a higher low, and now we're seeing a third higher low. We want to see ETH go up, right? I do believe the local top on ETH is at like 179 or 170, 169. That's going to be the local top. If ETH can close above here, we're going to see a nice run up, a pretty nice run up. Litecoin did this. I'll go into LTC, BTC, just show you guys the market cycle I've been talking about. All right, we had closure above our white line, and we had a nice sustained rally on the USD chart. And if you look at it on the this is the BTC chart. If you go to the USD chart, let's go Coinbase for example. We're trading. We saw resistance at our white MA, and then it turned into support, and now it's continuing. And right when Litecoin, before it even popped, I was saying Litecoin's looking really bullish. I said that several times, tweeted about it. We're still down here. Right? I said LTC, I wouldn't be shorting right now. It's been in a nice sustained rally. So for the futures traders that just the long the future and still holding, right? I mean, this is why we trade futures and not perpetuals, right? Because we can long these big cycles. All right, done ranting about ETH and BTC. Before I take altcoin suggestions, do we have any questions on Ether or Bitcoin? But before I dive in any altcoins and start taking altcoin requests. Market cap. All right. Are you talking alts or without alts? God, I used to pull it up. What was our ticker for market cap? Let's circle back around to that. Maybe I'll close with market cap. Is it MCAP? Matt, you're embarrassing me. Can't find our ticker. Total market cap. Crypto total market cap by TradingView, excluding BTC. There we go. I got it. All right, so market cap's also starting to find some support, right? On the daily chart, we're seeing some support. I'm going to get rid of volume here because it's really like just, it's too much on my chart. So I'm just going to shut this out. Does this look like a bottom? What do we know about market cap? We had a inverse head and shoulders right here that did not clear. It didn't close all the way. Right? I mean, it did close all the way, just never turned into the rally we wanted to see. And this might be the second attempt, right? So if we do get a sustained continuation of this rally, we're going to see a big move up. Now, what else do we see here? This could be an Adam and Eve, right? But we saw Adam and Eve's not be a very reliable pattern during the bear market. So an Adam and Eve is going to be a sharp V followed by a round bottom, all right? And price is getting close to that neckline. I don't see anything bearish on here. I don't. If we do get a sustained rally, I'm going to go ahead and call the local top. Local top means the first level of serious resistance. And it's going to be that 158. You can write that. There's no commas. It's hard to read, but it's on the chart. All right. Before I dive into alts, you guys know about our auto trader, our altcoin auto trader, and kind of want to showcase the UI. We did get stopped out of a lot of trades, and we did have some minor modifications get done to it. Our trailing stop was set at like 1% by the devs after T4, and I think AST, KNC, and Raven. I'm like, guys, it should be at 8. The specs that I sent in were 8, so they switched it to 8. We're not going to be shutting out trades that soon, but as far as the UI goes and what we're looking at right now, it's going to look something like this, where you're going to be able to set your account, set your priority account, and then once you get in here, all right, you're going to get a signal dashboard. You're going to see what the actual gains are in real time, if targets have been hit. If something hits a certain target, if it hits T1, it's going to scale out a quarter. If it hits T2, it's going to scale out a quarter of what's left and hike the stop to T1. Same thing at T3, same thing at T4. Another issue we ran with, we saw a lot of wicks happen. All right, so we saw a couple of charts wick up to T3 and then come right back down to T2. So we added also a time delay so if we do get a premature breakout, it doesn't affect our trade. We don't get stopped out too soon. And for the history, we did get stopped out over several trades, but we did close some pretty good ones, right? We closed at 20%, 27%. That's just the auto trader itself. I believe ICX Raven, you guys know we called the top at over 160%. Running these on side accounts for testing. We're still testing our bot, and we're still adding changes and refining it so we capitalize out of the swings, the big swings, the most we can. Yeah, we are expecting the launch date to be on the 25th. So in about 20 days, you guys are going to be able to plug in and join. In the video description, after the video is over, I'll go ahead and drop a link to sign up to get email updates on our auto trader and how it's functioning. But in terms of trades, right, we're closing some big gainers and trying to sustain as little losses as we can, right? Trying to keep the stops as limited as possible. A couple other things, we also added a second attempt. So it's going to give us a second attempt on a certain alt, so we can run tighter stops on the first time. So we get stopped out the first time, and then we get back to that entry level, we pop right back in. So it's another way to reduce risk on the front end. Instead of running these 15, 17% stops because of this market cycle, we're going to be running 6% stops. And if you get stopped out, the bot's going to do a second attempt once the trade parameters are back into play. So some things to look forward to. We're still going to be testing for about 15 more days before launching on the 25th. So you guys stay tuned for that. All right. What else do we have? Okay, altcoins. Everybody wants to know about alts. Show me. Give me some alt requests. I know you had a few of them. Fred had Aggie as a request. All right, so it's not looking too good for Aggie. Did it hit our stop already? Let me double check on this. I know I had a signal on Aggie. $12.30, not since December. All right, so we haven't longed this thing since December. In terms of market cycle, it's not looking very promising right now, right? We don't quite have an MDRP div. We're going to see if this thing turns around. If it turns around, it might have a hidden bullish divergence here. Volume is 74 Bitcoin, right? So don't expect to break out anytime soon. The Binance break has been happening between the 400 volume, 600 volume. That's an early breakout. Anything sub 100, I don't expect it to make a big move up. NPXS is still going sideways. I talked about this. It's still setting up that pennant. I expect it to start moving soon, right? I mean, at one point, this was my biggest bag in anticipation of the big move. And it looks like it just wants to stall for now, right? Going sideways. It's in a range. It's not even a tradable range, right? Like, I mean, unless you want to buy 16 and sell 20, you can do that all day, right? You can set limit buys and limit sells, limit buys, limit sells. But if you limit sell here and it breaks out, then you're going to be in trouble, right? You're going to miss on the actual breakout. So that's why I'm not quite range trading this. I'm just going to let it simmer. We know it's coming. We know it's coming, right? If you get a close above 20, this is our imaginary white line, right? If you get a close above 20, you're going to get a big run. In terms of volume, it's at 417 compared to Aggie, which was at 71. That's a big difference in volume. So I'm still pretty optimistic here. CND, Syndicator. You guys know how I feel about Syndicator right now. I had seen several bullish formations on this chart, and it's just ranging. It's getting to a point of frustration. All right, so let's go back to the daily. We're above the key MAs and moving averages to the upside. We had a reverse pennant, right? Reverse ascending triangle here, and we're still trading above it. Not only that, we got a cup and somewhat of a handle. And here we got this range. We're still trying to clear this range. Sideways. Can't tell you. You can't say much, right? RSI is failing to go up, but then we're not getting close above these previous wicks. Yeah, I'm still yet have to see the push out of Syndicator. It did get stopped out the first time on the bot in profits, and I went ahead and signaled it again over here when we had this this move above the pennant, and this thing should break out eventually. The ADX on it, the average directional index isn't looking great, right? It's at 56, but it could do a big jump up. We're not even overbought here, so it's still range trading. Realistically, I would tie in a stop to like that 315 mark, just to be safe. All right, Mana and Vibe. And if you guys can, request like up to 3 alts. If I don't want, like one person using the whole hour, I'm usually streaming for just an hour. If you show like 15 coins, give somebody else the opportunity to send in some requests. So we reopened long on Mana today. I do believe this is one of the strongest tokens. We did see an inverse head and shoulders, and it looks like it wants to come back down. It might retest this shoulder. We also see we saw another up move from BTC. It's my BTC chart, that's why I'm looking behind me. But we did see that, and they do tend to have an inverse correlation at times. Right, Mana was a wonderful hedge over the bear market. It made us over 1,000% when everything else ate the dust. So we've got an inverse head and shoulders on the intraday. We did get a retracement. This is one of the strongest tokens. It's backed by some really big banks. It's hard to devalue. I'm still long on Mana, right? I mean, it's just coming down over here. We've got to stop. We've got to stop. Vibe. I believe Vibe was making some upwards moves today. Yep, sure did. Setting up in a bull flag, right? Let's go. Let's check where it is in terms of market cycle. It's looking somewhat clear to go, right? Vibe is looking really strong. Volume's 123. It's still better than Aggie. And if we're just going to go here, we had a pennant that failed, right? 61.8 retracement. We still have a long signal on Vibe. We did not get stopped out of the trade. We've been long in the zone for a while, just waiting for the breakout. Is it getting ready to do so? What do moving averages say? We just got a cross for a long, so possibly yes. Positive momentum's coming in this chart. I would watch out for volume. All right, so continuing on to the next one. Oh, real quickly, if I covered your altcoin and you hate my analysis, click the like button. If you like my analysis, click the like button. Smash that like button for me. Let's hop into ADA. Alright, so I actually wrote a full-blown article on ADA. ADA was looking really promising, closing above our imaginary white line, right? In terms of market cycle, I believe it's just lagging behind, right? Volume on Binance is at 1100, right? Almost at 1200. One thing that would make me really bullish on ADA is a close about above 1155, right? If you close above 1155 sats, we're going to see a big continuation. Why am I still bullish on ADA? Let's look at the retracement. Eyeballing, it looks like a 50% retracement, and it is a 50% retracement. What do we know about 50% retracements? We know that they're bullish. All right, we know that they are, and not quite inverse head and shoulders. ADA's due a breakout. I actually, started picking out longs here, and still waiting for the actual. Probably gonna add to the bags at 1155, 1153, just on that threshold. Going over XTZ. What exchange are you holding that on, Jolly? Are you holding your Tezos? What exchange? Seeing a bit of a falling wedge on Tezos. I wouldn't call it that. I would not call it that. Where are we in terms of market cycles? Don't have my lines. Don't have my... Whoa, that's ugly. There you go. Alright, so you're seeing quite a bit of volume coming in here. It's still at 44 BTC. That's on hit BTC. It's not going to be on any of our main exchanges. Can't really give you no comment here. It's just in a range, right? It's just in a range. It's quite a bit of accumulation, but that's your resistance, that's your support. I don't see a breakout formation. I don't see nothing on the daily, nothing on the intraday. Go back to Bitfinex. I believe it had more volume there. So we're looking at intraday. 4 BTC, right? I mean, I just, there's no volume. It's hard to trade a coin that doesn't have enough volume in there. Things that I've been signaling have been in the 160 plus volume, right? That's when we're starting to see money flow into the market, right? Anything below that, just gonna range trade. And that's one thing that's the problem with Syndicator. It hasn't broken the 300 BTC of daily trading volume. And that's, we got to break that threshold on some of these charts. All right. You're welcome, Mooseman. All right, you guys on YouTube, Facebook, show me some alts. If not, I'm just going to cover how great of a week we had with our alt calls, right? Steam Lumens, awesome, thank you. All right, so Steam, I've got big Steam's looking really bullish. It's probably one of my larger bags right now in terms of moving averages and market cycles. We got friction right here. We're attempting to close above daily volume on Binance is at 278. Intraday, right? So daily charts looking like an attempted bull flag. Intraday, we've got somewhat of a bull flag. I think Steam's ready to go. It just needs a push of volume. Don't think there's anything bearish on here. I'm just going to add a RSI, right? We don't have a bearish divergence on the daily. Our daily ADX is at 24, 25. You guys know that's my goat, right? Like, so once we're at the ADX 24, we expect the trend to really continue. There's times where it's done that and it's turned the other way, but typically the average directional index, once it's 24, 25, 26, it's ready to go. I think within a couple of days we'd get more MAs crossing over to the upside, and we'd get a bigger push. A lot of these algorithms, right? A lot of algos that are trading crypto, they're automated. They're using moving average crosses. That's how we see these spikes happen. And when it comes to trading the big swings, which is what we're after right now, why we're hunting down those big returns between 30 to 160 for a local top, that's because of what we've identified in terms of a cycle. But what fires up the smaller moves are going to be the algos, the bots that are trading a 240 chart, right? So here you're not seeing much volatility on these crosses, but if I switch my my template and we're using different MAs, right? We see the clearance here gave us a nice big run. Closure here, it gave us a big down move, but then another cross up, an upwards cross, set us in this rally. So yeah, I'm very bullish on Steam. QKC, and I'll cover lumens next. Quark chain. Volume's at 396. That's promising. Just a second there. Got a signal on QKC on Thursday, and it was at 829 sats. Stop at 773. We did not get stopped out, right? And it's sitting in profits, right? Small profits. I'm not gonna call this a bull flag, not yet, but volume looks promising. Go to the 15. Somewhat of an attempt at head and shoulders, and kind of just ignored it, right? The chart just kept on trading. You see a shoulder, a head, another shoulder. Minor breakdown. It's still going up. I do believe this one's got more of a ways to go, right? We want to see it close above our key moving average and sustain a rally. Now, unlike other tokens, this one did not get crushed all the way below, right? A lot of other tokens were trading way down here. I'm just gonna give you guys an example going into KNC, Kyber Network. Right, we signaled this thing down here, and then our targets were up here. It hit T4, got out of the trade, and then it kind of came back down to reconcile with one of our other moving averages. So QKC was looking a lot different, right? It never really got crushed, and what I think is happening in the market cycle is BTC is just flowing back into these alts once they get up to here. The first time it's going to come back down. And get somewhat rejected, right? So it's going to be like our main T2, T3, and then T4 is going to be up ahead. So if they're too early in the cycle, we want to sell that T4. If they're starting to get up here and getting friction second, third, fourth time, it's time kind of going back to steam, right? It's closing above for the third or fourth time. That's promising. We did not cover BAT. I'm covering BAT for you next. Let me get lumens and then BAT. I'm going to go over lumens. That's not how you spell lumens. There you go. All right. How far away is lumen from our predictive resistance? Really far, right? So we've got a long ways to go. A 45% trade rate here for a safe target. Assuming this is bottom. Now I've got a pretty big lumens position here. This pop yesterday got me to signal it. Lumens big. I'm gonna go to the Bitrix chart. I don't think that wick was quite as low. Well, I'm long on lumens, right? There's an inverse head and shoulders here. This could be the retest of the neckline. The 240, right? Right now, we're seeing our magic moving average kind of act as resistance. I don't know if he can maintain doing that, but another push out of lumens will set this thing into a nice upwards move, right? This has been acting as resistance since December. And typically when the chart clears it, right, we get a big move up. You guys, I know a lot of you that were asking me about moving averages. I said, please watch the moving average workshop. And we've got those workshops there for a reason. So when it goes back to like back testing, looking at these charts, that's why we strategize, right? And once we right, just looking at this chart, you got to get a close above, and you see a big move up from lumens. This was somewhat of a premature breakout, but money's coming back in. It's coming back in hard. I think it's at 1,000 BVol on Binance, and I don't think you can short lumens anywhere. So, and these big buy volume moves just dwarf the selling volume. This might be a bear flag. I don't see it breaking down. Let me see where the next layered buy-in would be here if this was a bear flag, right? The next target's going to be pretty low. It's back here, not quite the previous yearly low. If it breaks down 2,000 mark. Can lumens do that? I don't see a reason for lumens to do that. It's one of the strongest tokens out there. Taking a breath. All right, going over BAT, basic attention token. BAT was reaching the all-time high resistance the other day, right? And we had a long signal. Our trader bot just closed out the trade on, I think at like T2. It got some 20-30% out of bat. And that's why we like our auto trader, right? We don't have to do a whole lot of chart watching. There's an inverse head and shoulders here, and I tweeted and I posted in our chat and our Discord. I kind of posted this everywhere. I said, if we get a close above this neckline, we're going to see a big move out of bat, right? I'm talking a really big move. Where did we signal BAT? We signaled BAT, I want to say like down here for this big move up. And now I got another bull flag. I'm still holding some of my basic attention token. I sold some up here. We want to see a close above either this yellow line or this head and shoulders, anywhere between the 4,900. I'm going to drop some price tags, price labels. Anywhere between 48.76 and 50.53, right? That's going to be our neckline on BAT, and a closure above that is going to put in a 60% rally in terms of BTC. It's going to be huge, right? And if we see like this one up move, it was fueled by a whole lot of volume. Something's happening with BAT. You can even bring this down a little. Being too generous in the bear's favor. Alright, so we have 4,900, close above 4,900, could set BAT into a run, a big run. Why am I saying that? We look at things like theta, right? It went flying. Alright, and when we got the retest here, I say, hey guys, you might want to long theta because it's back at this previous support. It's a big cup and a handle. It wasn't quite an inverse head and shoulders, but we can still get a 100% rally off the all-time high. Like, this is currently the market cycle, and my perspective is greed. What we saw in Raven, the FOMO, we signaled, or didn't signal it, but in chat, I said, hey, this is the top on Raven. And I said that based on the hyperwave that I was putting notes on, and based on the amount of FOMO in that chart, right? So we're seeing a lot of greed. This is where we wanna ride our gainers, get those big profits, exit at the targets, those FIB targets, or set a trailing stop, and let the market do the work for us, right? Especially when we get big gainers. And when things start closing above that all-time high resistance, or we get an up formation or bullish formation at an all-time high resistance, that is going to be a good thing. All right. Troy, Mike, Kevin, Usman, you guys hit me with some requests. We got about 20 more minutes in the stream. Hi, Charlie. The real spotty price action. Alright, you guys don't have anything for me? I'm gonna do last call, going once. Digibyte. What's going on, Mark? Welcome. So Digibyte on the daily, it is getting close to that big spike, right? It is. It's still kind of trending. It's still trending up. You still have higher highs and higher lows. It's a bit of an aggressive uptrend, right? Let me add an RSI and ADX and just kind of see what's going on with our trend there. Assess the trend strength. I just added an RSI, ADX. All right, ADX is at 30. That is not very high, right? I mean, historically, it ran up to 48. It ran up to 52. Based on my market cycles, right, the things I've been trading right now, we can expect it's too close for it not to push through. What are some targets here? Some longer term targets. We kind of signaled this flag. Can be signaled it, right? So you got to target right above this. So I think 341 is achievable here. I don't see a reason for Digibyte not to do so. In terms of volume, it's at 117. This is a Bittrex only chart, right? So it's going to have a little bit of a disadvantage over alts that are trading on Bittrex and Binance. You're not going to see the Binance FOMO come. You're not going to see that big volume surge. But then again, sometimes a thinly traded chart is going to move up a whole lot faster. You just got to make sure to profit take fast, because if the books are thin, price is going to come back down. We do, surely, mainly not individual stocks, but we trade some ETFs. All right, fam, last call for alts. Going once, going twice. All right, thanks for tuning into tonight's Power Hour. If you guys don't get in our Discord, drop a comment below. If I covered your altcoin, smash that like button, share the video, tag your friend. Hope you guys liked our update. Make sure to hop in our Discord and stay in tune. I'll catch you guys next stream. I'm going to try to stream again on today's Tuesday. Try to go again live on Thursday. So stay tuned. I'll catch you guys next time.